Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL, Inspirations for Your Life. If you're new to IFYL, grab your camera, point it over to the QR code at the top right hand corner of the screen, touch the little yellow ellipse, and you'll get my link tree. So thanks so much for popping in tonight. We are on day 6. We'll get to the topic in just a little bit, but I really want to thank you for popping in. We are on the first day of December. It's so great actually to be here. And I know that a lot of you are probably saying, gee, what is this about? Well, I'll get to that in a second. So thank you for my friends, colleagues, and wonderful associates that have been supporting me. In just a few weeks, we're going to be celebrating a year, yay, of IFYL being in its own podcast. So thank you very much. This is one of my 3 great podcasts that I do. One of the smaller ones, but really do appreciate it. I love this podcast. And so for my friends, colleagues, and wonderful associates, I appreciate you. And hopefully some of the new people will become loyal, just like all of you have been for a very, very long time. I really appreciate it. Let's get to our master topic, shall we? How to become more confident. So to become more confident is something that's not hard, but it does take a little bit of work. I mean, in other words, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It does not happen overnight. So if it doesn't happen overnight, then people get a little frustrated because it hasn't happened yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just that it has not happened yet. That's what it is. Has not happened yet. So how else can we become more confident? I think we can become more confident by understanding that confidence is something that we all have the ability to get better at, right? We all have the ability to get better on that a certain way. But when we talk about confidence, people say to me, John, I'm confident, but yet I'm not getting it done. Well, the reason you're not getting it done is because you haven't practiced, you haven't done the work, you haven't done what you need to be confident. Confidence is a state, right? It's a state of mind, but it's not just this false state. It's a true state. It's a state that our bodies have to be into to have the highest level of actualization, have the highest level of achievement. So when we think about confidence, okay, and we've only got one more day after today to talk about it. One thing we can do is we can make sure that we know what we're getting involved in. We can do the research before we go to do something. We can practice something, right? That will definitely help us. And so if we do all these things, then does that mean that we're going to be confident? Well, confidence is something that is a natural progression. You don't just become confident in 24 hours, as I said before. So, in order to be confident, you need to really embrace where you are right now and then figure out what is it going to take for me to become confident. I mean, I think that's the name of the game. And if you understand that, then I know that you'll probably appreciate what I mean by confidence. Okay. Confidence is something that is pretty cool. But for whatever reason, some people just don't feel that confidence is something that how can I say? It's something that they really know a lot about. And it's because it's a very wide discipline, right? A very wide discipline. And so if we think about confidence for just a moment, there are certain factors we need to have in order to become confident, right? So we can practice, right? We can build muscle memory. So by doing that, we're going to be able to become a lot better at something, right? A lot better. And so if we become a lot better at something, then that means we're eventually going to master that skill. But again, this does not happen overnight. It does not happen overnight. And so when I say it doesn't happen overnight, I really mean that. Does a ball player become an overnight sensation overnight? Absolutely not. So you're not going to become the best you can be in a fraction of a second. You're going to get a little bit better. And so I think when we think about confidence, we need to look at where we are right now. If we were trying to, let's say, become a great runner and we never ran a day in our life, we couldn't just expect to get there tomorrow. So we could say, gee, maybe a good goal for me might be to run for a couple minutes and not lose my breath, right? And if I could do that, then maybe I could do it for a minute. And then we build it up to 2 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 4 minutes. And then you say, well, gee, I now ran today 3 minutes without losing my breath. And maybe we can make it longer or we can change the intensity of the run, right? There are lots of things we can do. Maybe you're trying to lose weight and you say, I can't do this. So I've said this before. If you put that in your mind, that's going to become your reality. That's right. I said it's going to become your reality. And this happens for one reason, because your mind creates the map. Your mind creates the map. Your brain basically follows that map. And when it does, it starts to build pathways. It starts to put you in places. It starts to make connections. You start to have synchronicities. And people say, is it magic? No, it's not magic. It's that when you are focused on something, your body is being more attuned to it. Like I've used the analogy before. There aren't a lot of white cars out, but if I drive a white car, well, there's a ton of white cars, aren't there? There's so many white cars. So then how does that work? Well, because it's what we focus on at the current moment. What we focus on. So focusing is going to be what puts us laser pointed to a specific goal at that moment in time. When we start to recognize the fact that we are that laser focused, we start to attract things into our life. I mean, all kinds of things, all kinds of things. So, thinking about how you could be amazing is pretty cool, right? But how? How does that work? How does that work? Tell me how that works. That's what I want to. How does that work? I think it happens because people are in their own world for a moment, and they get in their own world because they don't understand what's going on in life. They have no idea. Think about how you get lost, right? And how you don't know where to go. Think about that for a moment. If you could just understand for 1 minute, just a minute in time, how you get lost on something, you'll start to realize that a perception can set the stage for where you can be or for where you will be. Where you can be or where you will be. Now, that sounds a little crazy, but the truth of the matter is, it's not. It's not crazy. When we start to conceptualize how our mind, okay, and our body is able to do something, then I think we get it. Then I think we get it. But it does not happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. Why? I think it's because we have this notion of what's going to be a certain way. And then all of a sudden, that way doesn't seem to work the way we expected it to work. So this means that before we can get to a destination, we have to see the destination in our head. All right. And being confident means that we know how to get to our destination. We've looked at the map, we know our directions, but we don't have to have the map in our hands at the given moment. Right. Or we studied for this test, right, for weeks. And we studied every single day. It wasn't like we studied on the last day. We studied every single day. And when I went to high school, I learned that that was the best way to study. Study your notes every single day a little bit. Then when the test comes, it's like, okay, you get it. And I love math a lot. And when it came time for math, I practiced. I did my homework. I made sure I understood things during the class, not at the time when it was, the nth hour. So this means that you develop a confidence. So if you do so many math problems, for example, you develop a confidence that you're actually good at math. But if you never did math problems, so you don't study math by just looking at a formula. No, you study math by actually doing the equations, by solving problems. And then, you do your homework each night, but then maybe when it comes time to the test, you can do the practice tests again, or you can do a couple. And because your mind is confident that you've got it, your brain and body are like, okay, yeah, you got this, this, right? And if you get the formula, if you get how it goes, your body goes into what we call muscle memory, and it just kind of knows what to do. It doesn't need you to do anything crazy. Doesn't need you to do anything crazy at all. All it needs you to do is just focus on what it is that you want in your life. And if you focus on what it is you want, I can tell you that your life is going to change like you would never imagine. I mean, doing those problems and studying your vocabulary and doing things like that and doing it every day. One of my teachers had told me, John, you want to do well in the tests. You don't do well in my tests by studying last minute. Well, you can, but it's hours and hours. And you know what happens? You cram and you forget everything. What I found is that when I studied the way that the teachers had told me, when it came time for the midterms, guess what? I retained a lot of it. When it came time for the finals, I retained a lot of it. And I didn't have to stay sorry because I already knew. And if there was an area I had to brush up on, I only had to go over. So I would do the 100 questions, and anything I got wrong, I'm like, okay, I got to practice questions in that area because I knew the technique, right? If you know how to add, you know how to subtract, you know how to divide, multiply, you know the techniques. And then when you do them over and over again, you know how to elicit them. It's just a matter of practicing it. And it's that confidence that says, hey, I know how to do it. You can have confidence in being a musician. You can have confidence in engineering. You can have confidence in social media. You can have confidence in being a writer. You can have confidence in anything you want. It really just takes a commitment to daily practice, or if not daily practice, consistent practice several times a week. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, Serial Entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you this amazing Thursday evening. I hope you like, love, and support the channel. I would really be grateful for that. And definitely comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then be sure to, yes, go to my YouTube channel, John Space C Space Emma Worley, Y Space Serial Entrepreneur, and look for that key phrase to help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team in a cup of coffee, a refreshing beverage, or a tasty dessert. Either way, we'll be grateful with those pennies and dollars. We'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode number 7. Have a great night, everyone.